Hello and welcome. My name is Emma Goodmanson, and today we will be discussing Laura Hillenbrand's Unbroken, which follows the life of Louis Zamperini throughout World War II. This book is crammed full of detail of not only Zamperini's life, but also jaw-dropping statistics of survival and the chances of surviving World War II in an airplane. I've actually seen the movie version of this book, and I just loved it, and ever since then I've wanted to read the book, so I'm so glad that I picked up a copy and read it. And this book is full of struggles, it is, but it's also full of courage and strength, and we're taking through what Zamperini endured and all that he survived. There has been so much praise for Unbroken, and it was on the New York Times bestsellers list for 3 years. And it's no surprise that it did. This book just grips you and it doesn't let you go. It shines a light on the cruelties and injustices of war. So right now I'm going to read a passage from the book. Louis would remember the moment when he saw the bird as the darkest of his life. For the bird, it was something else. He beamed like a child on his birthday. He seemed certain that the prisoner of wars were overjoyed to see him. Fitzgerald forked forward on his crutches and assumed the duties of senior prisoner of war. The bird announced that just as at Omori, he was in command, and that the men must obey. He said that he would make this camp just as Omori had been under his tenure. Ringing with shock, Louis picked himself up and hiked through the snow to the barracks, a 2-story building on the edge of a small cliff that dropped straight down to the frozen Hokura River. The 300 residents, mostly Australians, were shrunken down to virtual stick figures. Most were wearing the tropical weight khakis in which they'd been captured, and which, thanks to years of uninterrupted wear, were so ragged that one civilian likened them to seaweed. The wind, scudding off the sea, whistled through cracks in the walls, and there were so many holes in the roof that it snowed indoors. The whole building was visibly infested with fleas and lice, and rats trotted through the rooms. The beds were planks nailed into the walls. The mattresses were loose rice straw. Everywhere there were large gaps in the floor. The prisoner of wars had pulled up the floorboards and burned them in an attempt to survive temperatures that regularly plunged far below zero. That passage alone has so many details, and I promise you the whole book is like that, just chock full of detail after detail. And this book is just so important. I just couldn't help rooting for Zamperini as I read it. We were introduced to him as a young, mischievous child, and he seemed to grow up in a flash. This book is so important, like I said. It brings attention to the after effects of war, especially to the people who fought in it. One terrible, tumbling second passed, then another. An instant before the plane struck the water, Louis's mind throbbed with a single, final thought. Nobody's going to live through this. To find out what happens, and if they do survive, pick up a copy of Laura Hillenbrand's Unbroken. You won't regret it.